Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod. I'm your host, Shrew. My other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. We are back. This is the Deep Digger Sports Pod. Today, we are talking about a whole bunch of stuff. The 49ers beat the Buccaneers. Now we look ahead to the Thanksgiving Day game against the Seattle Seahawks. We're talking the Jets with Zach Wilson, a whole bunch of other stuff. But before we get into that, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. The channel's growing pretty quick. And be sure to drop some comments below. Just let us know what you think overall.
Yeah, man, how you feeling being back? We took kind of a quick hiatus because you went and did your whole wedding thing and honeymoon.
We're roommates for life now. We are roommates for life. Yeah. So it was awesome. It was nice to enjoy that time. I still made time to watch the 49ers game. But yeah, we went and we had a party to celebrate, and then we went off to Disneyland, and it was awesome because it was a good time. I stuck to the very strict Mark Wahlberg schedule. I woke up at 4, I worked out, I got a round of golf, and nah. But it was a good time.
You're her Deshaun Watson, dude. She's locked in. Can't
Oh,
get out of that. Can't get out of that contract.
you can just like Bobby Bonilla or something.
I'm feeling good. I'm a little chilly in this basement, so I got the hood up. I was thinking I need one of those what are the kids calling it? The shiesties.
Oh no, you got to get a blue one.
Yeah, I see the kids walking around with those in the city, so I think I need one. Keep them warm. I guess that's why they wear it.
I don't know
Uh,
about that, man.
um, let's talk about this Niners game that just went down. Buccaneers, 49ers. Close game, right? It was a
Mm.
super tough fought battle. Baker Mayfield looked amazing. No, wrong. Niners looked amazing. They're back. Brock Purdy's balling. He's spinning it. How are we feeling about this 49ers win?
Feeling great, but there is one caveat. Talanoa Hufanga lost for the season, torn ACL. That is a huge blow to this defense. Uh, the rookie steps in. Jair Brown looked at first a little shaky, but ended up figuring it out. Honestly, the dude is a playmaker. So feeling good about that. And he has a couple weeks to really kind of lock in, get into it, because I mean, there's a huge test coming up in the Philadelphia Eagles just around the corner. So that's happening. But man, you got to feel good about this 49ers team heading, just into this Thursday night game, but also just heading through the rest of the season. Everyone seems healthy. Brock Purdy is slinging it around. The offense looks awesome. The defense with Chase Young actually looks revitalized. They're really getting after it. And you could see like visibly the chemistry between Chase Young and Nick Bosa. And it's just like maybe that's what you need. You just need a Nick Bosa friend on the other side. And he's like, I like my friends.
Yeah, he's Bosa looks like he's rejuvenated. Like he's hyped to be on the field again. Um, Earlier in this season without Chase Young, he just looked, nothing was going on. I mean, he's not getting to the quarterback. Now he's on the sideline talking with Chase Young, and they're planning out. They're over here plotting together. They're coming up with their moves that are going to work together perfectly. And Chase Young's looking nice. I mean, if you just ask him to be a down lineman and just go, hey, run that direction and get the quarterback, like apparently he's really good at that.
And also, too, like I think knowing in the back of his mind, I can go out all out for 25 snaps and then I could back out and have Randy Gregory go in there. I could have someone else really take my spot and not have to be that guy because it had to be draining in Washington to realistically, you don't have a lot of moves. All you're doing is bull rushing the entire time. I'm sure he took a lot of plays off, just knowing like, hey, like they drafted me really high. I have to be on the. There's no way I'm coming off this field. So stepping into this scenario, it is kind of a perfect spot for him, and he is playing up to it. Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey looked awesome, dude. He hits the over. We hit our diamond pick of the week. We are back up again, baby. So we are up, I believe, now 2.5 units. So feeling good, feeling great.
We're getting back to it. I think we're gonna have to do our diamond pick on Wednesday this week because it is a
You're right.
Thanksgiving game against Seattle, and we'll talk about that in a second. I mean, I don't know if we want to harp too long on this Buccaneers game because it was just, they didn't roll over. but we were in the driver's seat the whole time. The 49ers were in control. Brock Purdy was slinging it. The throw to Ayuk, the longest passing
Oh,
touchdown in the season. And I don't want to talk about like all the perfect passer rating since blah blah blah. Oh, this is like other people are going to talk about those stupid stats. Like the eye test was the eye test. Brock Purdy looks amazing. This offense is rolling with Deebo Samuel in it. Kittle's getting involved now. Ayuk looks like a fucking top 10 receiver when we give him the ball. Like, how are we feeling about this offense? Is this going to sustain?
I think so. I mean, there's nothing holding it back besides itself. It's just execution. And so that's going to be the biggest factor moving forward. Can you execute? Can you make sure that you're checking all these boxes? And can you not get stagnant? Can you not fall into the classic, we're going to run, 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 run? You got to mix it up every once in a while. You have to air it out. And we've seen that Brock Purdy does have that capability. Everyone wants to harp on, oh, well, he throws his checkdowns, blah, blah, blah. But he does have arm talent and he can open up the rest of the field. And that's something that this Shanahan offense has been missing over the past few years. And I don't know if you've seen last week, he did kind of take a shot at Jimmy G. He was like, oh, I want a guy that elevates. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically it was like, I want Brock to elevate. We have a quarterback that can elevate people rather than everyone needs to win in spite of. And I'll look at the exact quote, but I'm not a quote guy, but you get the sense of it.
We're here all straight vibes. And speaking of vibes, let me call a timeout really quick because my local burger establishment has just delivered something to me. So we'll be right back after this message. All right, the bag was secured. Got my food. So let's go and wrap this up right now. Niners gonna win next
We're
week.
done.
You know what is frustrating about living in the city? I seen all these articles about tipping fatigue,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm starting to feel it, man. And that's not that I don't want to tip. I will tip you. But when you turn that little iPad around and the smallest option is 30%,
Ugh.
bro, what are we doing? I just ordered a coffee.
30%? Nah.
Like, that's why they're playing these mind games with us now. Because now it's like, okay, we know you're going to hit the last option. Last option is 40%. And it's like,
No, fuck that.
dude, I don't know how it is out there. You know, you're in a smaller town, but I feel like if I go back through my receipts, I'm tipping so much money out here.
I just don't go anywhere.
Well, yeah, that's
I don't go anywhere, so it's all good.
whatever happened to. Let's. Am I sound like an old man right now?
Yeah, you are.
Whatever happened to? You go out, you get the service, you see how the service was, and then you do your tip. Now it's like, boop boop boop. I hit 2 buttons. You're gonna give me the tip, and it's gonna be good no matter what. And then I'm gonna give you the service.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it just me or any of our listeners in big cities? Let me know, because I'm sick of giving up, like basically doubling my money of what I'm paying for everywhere, and I'm doing it because I don't want to be that guy who like just hits no.
I just would say no. Yeah, don't do it anymore.
I'll become the villain of San
Live that
Francisco.
life, yeah.
I'm the only guy not tipping.
Well, I mean, San Francisco is a city full of shit, so literal shit on the human streets.
Not
So,
anymore. China cleaned it up. China
I
cleaned it
know.
up.
I think this is a prep to see how fast they could do it for the Super Bowl. They're like,
Yeah.
all right.
And we love San Francisco. We're not
I
saying.
love San Francisco, but yeah, there's literal human shit on the streets. Anyways, let's go ahead.
As someone who
San
lives here,
Francisco 49ers against the
Oh, no,
Buccaneers.
I'm not gonna let you say this shit everywhere. Someone who lives here, I've only seen shit a few times.
I used to work in the city. I've seen so much shit.
There is shit though. But let us know in the comments how you feel about the city and tipping.
But yeah, I think are we going to start this conversation? George Kittle is now officially better than Travis Kelce. He is. He's all around better. And now he's getting the receiving stats to back it up. Before it was like, okay, well, if you want an all-around tight end, of course you're going to go with George Kittle. But if you want just the receiving flashy tight end, you go with Travis Kelce. Now we're seeing George Kittle get those numbers to back it up. And it's like, well, you can get the Travis Kelce numbers with a guy who just loves to hit, loves to block, as an all-around football player. Travis Kelce, not so much.
I mean, Travis Kelce, I think I would almost label him more of a wide receiver. Like he is that team's leading wide receiver.
Their
He's
wide
their team.
receivers suck. We've seen it tonight. Their wide receivers suck. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah,
But
let's not get too far off that. I think wrapping up this Buccaneers thing, uh, Baker, I think showed,
yes,
he's a pretty solid guy, but he doesn't have the greatness in him, and that's where I feel bad. But I mean, he's a solid quarterback. He's not terrible.
imagine if he
He's a
had,
bridge guy.
I don't know, a place where he was like loved and maybe drafted him number 1 overall that
Had
had
a
like
solid defense.
a superstar defense that really just didn't need a whole lot, just game managing. Imagine if like there was a place like that Baker had gone to. They
Dallas.
fucked up. They fucked up.
Imagine if Dallas had him right now. That's what we're talking about, right?
Oh,
Jets?
yeah.
The Jets?
Oh, dude. Game
Well,
changer.
let's move on to the Seahawks game. Gino's actually banged up. He might not play.
They
And
said that he
probably-
is trending towards playing. That was a slaughter of a game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know if you've seen the highlights to that.
Mhm.
They were beating the shit out of each other. Geno Smith gets banged up. Devin Witherspoon suplexes a guy. Matt Stafford gets just demolished on a throw. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like they're beating the hell out of each other. That's nice. That's good for 49er fans. And yeah, heading into this game, I just don't know. Like, what do you make of this Seattle Seahawks team? And sometimes they look like world beaters. On other times, they lose to the Los Angeles Rams. Like, what do we do here?
Yeah, and I'm not to say the Rams have looked completely terrible. They've looked competent at times, but they just don't have the talent. They're like an NBA team. They're like the Suns that have like some superstars in the starting and then like nobody's on the bench. So that's not going to win you every game. The Seahawks, I've been saying it all season, just watching them, sometimes I'm like, what are we doing here? Because this team is fucking loaded on the offensive side of the ball. And there's no reason they should be as stagnant as they have been at times. And there's no reason that they shouldn't be they shouldn't be one of the best top 5 offenses in the league with DK, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Bobo. And then you have the running back, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. Like, this team is stacked. And Gino has just had, we've said it before, a coming to earth season where he hasn't been amazing. Not to say he's been bad, but like, should be a lot better.
He should write back. Yeah.
Hey, they're calling him.
Nah, man. I think like we're starting to see like the cracks in the armor. When you get a full season of somebody, you really start to see where they are. And you do see like Gino is probably more from 25 to 32 on the back end of the quarterback spectrum, which is again cool. Top end, he could probably be 15, but over the course of the season, he's not going to be a guy that can really take you over that edge. I do think they're maybe a playoff team. Maybe it really depends. But I mean, they have some solid. The win against the Lions is looking more and more solid as we go throughout this season. But it's just always you throw out the records whenever you play the Seattle Seahawks. It's in Seattle, so that's going to be tough. It's a short week. It's going to get weird. And so what is really going to happen here, I'm not sure. If you're the 49ers, you do need this win, and you need to win convincingly because the Lions aren't giving up ground. The Eagles aren't giving up any ground. There's only one option, and it's to keep pushing forward. Can this team do it? I mean, they're striking, they're hitting their stride right now at the perfect time to make a run. You're going to see the Seahawks team, I think, 2 of the next 3 weeks. So it is what it is, man. You got to get after it, but it is going to be a challenge. And I'm actually really excited for this game. I think this is a really good way to end the Thanksgiving Day slate.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is on Thanksgiving. This is going to be amazing. But yeah, as far as this game, like, I feel like 2 weeks ago we were like, oh, this is Seattle's division now. Like, Seattle's going to run away with this, and it's going to be easy, and 49ers are going to be, like, close behind. And now it's like, I don't see anyone in this division as a threat right now to the 49ers. The Rams, I think we could take them. Like they don't really scare me. Puka has really gone silent since Cooper Cup got back. Um, the Cardinals, I mean, we'll see with Kyler, but I mean they lost to the Texans. He's still kind of getting his groove back. And if we win these 2 games against Seattle right now, it's over. Our division, we could kind of coast the rest of the year. Do we want to push for the 1 seed? Yes, it'd be nice, but we don't want to kill ourselves getting there if we know we're going to be at least the 4. We're going to be the 3.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're going to split a game between the Seahawks, it's going to be this one. Again, weird circumstances. It's a holiday. It's a short week. You're coming off of 2 really good wins. I don't want to say trap game, but like Pete Carroll's not going to back down. Nobody on this Seattle Seahawks team is scared of the 49ers because they faced them so often. And in fact, like if you're DK, you're like, I don't give a fuck about Charvarius Ward. Like he can't guard me. If I'm Tyler Lockett, I'm looking on the other end. I'm like, who's got me then? I'm gonna run wild. And I mean, Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, they're 2 heavy duty backs, bro.
I think Kenneth Walker went down this week.
Did he?
Yeah.
Is he gonna be back in time?
They lose him to an oblique injury, so it's gonna be Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet is pretty good, bro. So I might go.
But even without Kenneth Walker, like this receiving room is stacked.
Oh yeah, and so I think again, just weird. Like Devin Witherspoon is emerging as maybe the defensive rookie of the year, and so they do have a little swag about themselves, and they're not going to back down. Bobby Wagner on the other side, he's seen the 49ers a whole bunch, and so just the familiarity does like weird things can happen with that.
Yeah, well, you guys let us know in the comments. What do you think is going to happen with this game? Seahawks, they got a chance. Niners going to keep it rolling. I want to get more into this race for the 1 seed because the Eagles and the Chiefs just played. Recording this right after the Monday night game. I thought the Chiefs were going to get this one. But it looks like is this the worst receiving core in the league outside the Patriots?
I would say Patriots can give you a run for money. I would say maybe the Packers. Packers don't really have a guy. But yeah, it's up there. If you're like, okay, who doesn't have anyone? It's the
Panthers.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Panthers. Adam Thielen. What are you talking about?
But yeah, no, the Chiefs, they lost this because they have terrible receivers. And we're not including Travis Kelce in this. Obviously, he's like one of the best players in the league. He's not wide receiver. Their wide receivers are garbage. They cannot catch. Kadarius Toney looks amazing on these punt returns.
Yeah,
but like, let's put him downfield. Let's get some catches. But
he can't catch though. Like, yeah, that's the one thing I haven't heard about Kadarius Toney since he had that one game where he dropped all those balls. And then in the offseason where he was sending the voice messages on people's DMs, calling them a fat bitch. So that's all the Kadarius Toney that I've seen.
The Kansas City Chiefs lead the league in drop passes.
I know. I've seen a stat that they are averaging now only 5 points in the second half. 5 points through 10 games, 5 points in the second half. That's ridiculous. And it did look like they were going to run away with this game. Chris Jones was looking like a monster, dude. He had 5 sacks on Jalen Hurts in the first half. In the first half, dude. Well, and it looked like they were just going to take it and run with it. And I was like, okay, cool. It's an ugly game. I had under 45. I had Chiefs winning. And I was like, this is perfect. Both my bets are going to hit. Like, let's go.
Well, I brought this up because the Eagles, we were saying, have the toughest road to get to the 1 seed.
Yeah.
And this was a game that we were kind of counting on them losing. And looking forward, they still have a really tough schedule. They have the Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks. But then they ease up 2 games against the Giants and then the Cardinals. So if they don't start losing some games, then it doesn't really matter what the 49ers do here.
Yeah, man. And I think if the 49ers don't beat them in Philly coming up in the next few weeks, it's over. And so then you start to like, okay, how much do we rest? How much do we look at the rest of the division to figure out what's the easiest path for us as far as seeding? But yeah, man, I mean, not a whole lot you can do if they're going to be 1 or 2 losses. And I want to pull up. So I seen here, this is what the race is looking like. So it's Eagles are 9-1 with a plus 61 point differential. Lions, number 2, at 8-2. They only have a 43 point differential. And the Niners are 3 at 7-3 with a point differential of plus 122. That's insane. So, I mean, getting that win against the Eagles in a couple weeks is going to be crucial in order to just give you some life. I know it's not going to give you the 1 seed, but it gets you one step closer to the 1 seed, and you got to hope Tommy DeVito at some point beats these Eagles.
Hey, 3 touchdowns.
Oh man, he's better than Kenny Pickett. Fuck Pittsburgh.
But yeah, I think this is the Eagles game is what's going to be. It has been circled on the 49ers players' calendar for a while. So, I mean, even if we get that, we could still end up getting the 2 seed and not the 1. But I mean, only time will tell. We got to hope that the Cowboys pull through and beat the Eagles. That the Bills pull their shit together and beat the Eagles. Something needs to happen because I'm surprised with that high point differential for the Eagles because they've had some like gutted out wins this year. They could easily be like 5 losses.
And that's the thing, like you see that with an Eagles team where when they are down, you feel good about them coming. If you're an Eagles fan, you feel good about them making a comeback because you're like, okay, they've been there, they've done that, they know what it takes to win. With the 49ers, you don't. You just don't. And it's like, okay, well, when are the 49ers going to be able to prove that they can come from behind? Because we've seen in Kyle Shanahan's track record, it doesn't happen. With this 49ers team this year, 3 losses, all trying to come from behind, and it looked like a shit show the last couple drives. So it doesn't happen a lot. When are they going to prove that they can win tough games and eke it out when you have your C game, your B game, when you're down, the other team makes a miraculous touchdown? And we've seen that from this Eagles team. We don't see it with this 49ers team. So they're going to have to step it up and make some plays.
Eagles are the best team in the league right now?
I would say Ravens, but that's just my preference.
I'd
I
probably
like
go
Lamar.
Ravens too.
Yeah, I think Lamar's having 1, a better year, 2, healthier, and 3, like now they have like not only do they have Lamar Jackson's and now a high-powered offense, their defense is looking loaded. So I feel pretty good about the Ravens. The Lions are taking their shine is kind of dimming a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed. So they come from behind and beat the Bears, but they didn't look great. Jared Goff did not have a great game. I have him again in my fantasy team, and it was a whole lot of nothing for like 3 quarters. So Lions could end up fumbling this bag a little bit. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think the 49ers, the bye came at the perfect time for them. They reload, they get healthy, they got Chase Young, and now we're seeing it pay off in spades.
Well, you guys let us know in the comments. Who do you think is the best team in the league right now? Is it the Eagles, Ravens, 49ers, Lions in the house maybe? We want to move on to some of the worst teams. Not the worst teams, but a pretty bad one because of the quarterback situation. The Jets have an amazing defense. Everyone's been saying for weeks, got to get another quarterback. Got to bench Zach Wilson. Robert Saleh's been defending him. This week, where does Zach Wilson sit on the depth chart? Can you update us?
Number 3.
Number 3 on the fucking depth chart. And you guys are going to say that he's going to win enough games to bring Aaron Rodgers back? Come on. Sorry, I got a call right there.
Oh,
man, Robert Saleh's calling me, trying to, hey, don't bring up the Zach Wilson shit. Who are they going with? They're going with Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle.
And then their backup is going to be Trevor Siemian. Is it too late? Is it too little too late?
I would say yes. I think so first off, like Robert Saleh, I think Joe Douglas did a very good job of putting this team together. But first, you made the pick. You chose Zach Wilson. And we've seen that doesn't have to be the end all be all. We see it with the 49ers. They made the wrong pick. They chose Trey Lance. But they ended up lucking out and getting a quarterback that is going to be what seems like a franchise guy. And so you put all your eggs in one basket in the Aaron Rodgers camp. So that was your one mistake. Second mistake, not getting rid of Zach Wilson this offseason. Why have him there? You should have just, hey, we're going to clear out. We're going to get a capable backup in case old Aaron Rodgers goes down. And then three, you kept Zach Wilson in after week after week after week when he proved to you he wasn't the guy. And we've seen with the Vikings who went out and got Josh Dobbs, with the Bengals who were actually calling in people like, hey, they're scrambling heavily. And they were actually going after Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco ends up signing with the Browns. We're just seeing it all over the league. When you need a guy, you go out and get a guy. And they just didn't act with any urgency. So I think Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas should be fired after this season if they don't make the playoffs, just because it was their mistake. And you loaded up this team to make a run this year, and it didn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think they deserve to be fired. And so, yeah, man, I think it is too little too late.
I won't say they should get fired this offseason, but man, like it's just so frustrating because this team was built to win this year. And the fact that, okay, yeah, Zach Wilson, you could have said maybe he's a redemption story this offseason. He sits a year behind Aaron Rodgers, and then we'll see what he has. But you can't rely on him to be your number two. Like, we should have known more than any other year, if your guy goes down, you're one snap away from playing this guy, and are you comfortable with this guy? Like, look what happened to the 49ers, you know? So you could have re-signed Mike White, who looked good in that offense, who looked good on that team. You could have went out and brought another veteran. You could have brought literally anyone who's more competent at the quarterback position than Zach Wilson, which is most of the quarterbacks in the league right now. And then it's not like there was a shortage of backup quarterbacks. There's so many good backup quarterbacks right now because most of them are playing right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many backup quarterbacks playing. And then you couldn't even get an undrafted rookie in here, get a late round pick. Like, you went all in on Aaron Rodgers, but by doing that, you also went all in on Zach Wilson. And then you acted with no urgency during the season to even set up a replacement just in case Zach Wilson wasn't the guy. And I know people are arguing, oh, well, that offensive line is terrible. No one would have been good with that offensive line.
It is pretty bad.
It's terrible. It's terrible. But Josh Dobbs would have been better with that offensive line than Zach Wilson.
I think he would have been better, like at least more capable.
But
more
that mobile.
Offensive line is god awful. And that was, I don't know if you watched Hard Knocks, but that was a main storyline throughout the entire season of Hard Knocks leading up to this regular season. The offensive line is bad. One episode, Robert Saleh fucking chews their ass and is like, hey, we'll replace all of you motherfuckers. We don't care. Like, we need to get better. And guess what? They didn't. They roll. Oh. How do I pause this?
Back.
Yep, there we go.
Difficulties. But yeah, if anything, if that's what's a more fireable offense is building that fucking offensive line. I'd understand if they fired Douglas off of that, more so than the quarterback situation.
Yeah, man.
It's just
not a good scenario. You're rolling out Tim Boyle now. I think the Jets are done. I think this is the white flag for them.
Do you think who do you feel better about going forward? The Jets with Tim Boyle or the Browns with Joe Flacco?
Who says Joe Flacco even hits the field? DTR just got a win over the shitty Pittsburgh Steelers. Fuck Pittsburgh. Fuck Pittsburgh Pirates fans. I hate you. But yeah, I mean, we just seen DTR get a win against what many thought were a playoff team. So maybe he pulls it together. But I mean, we haven't seen. When's the last time Joe Flacco played.
But I mean, even saying that, like what you're saying now, why were the Jets not thinking of this? Like, hey, let's at
Yeah.
least bring in a veteran guy to sit
Carson Wentz
behind.
was sitting there for weeks.
Isn't it not like he's been out of the league forever? Like,
Yeah.
at least let's get a guy in here, sit him behind, and like there was other guys better than Trevor Siemian out there.
They
And
should have just been like, hey, you know what? I know we had this guy before. This is a completely new regime. Let's go out and let's get Sam Darnold. I think that's worth a third-round pick, a second-round pick in order to save our season early. They should have went out and reached out to the 49ers and done that. They could have reached out for Jameis. They could have reached out to a plethora of people, but they just chose not to, and that was arrogant of them.
yeah, this team's so good. I think they should have been. What I would have done is going through a whole quarterback carousel this year and seeing who sticks. Because I mean, look at like, okay, yeah, we keep using Josh Dobbs, but Josh Dobbs just took off. Like he's gonna potentially take the Vikings to playoffs, and you wouldn't have figured that out if you weren't working the phones, working the field, like seeing, okay, well, who's right now hot, gonna give me the best chance to win, instead of
Like,
just saying we're gonna live and die by Zach Wilson.
like you couldn't call up the Cleveland Browns early in the season and be like, hey, give us PJ Walker.
Jacoby Brissett, like,
Somebody, bro. But no, you made your bed. You gotta lay in it sometimes.
man, it
They're
just sucks
done.
because I think we're more frustrated because the Jets would have been amazing to watch this year.
Oh, it would have been so fun. Him coming out with the American flag on 9/11 to go against the Bills. Awesome. And then it lasted all 3 plays. So
All right, well, let's move on to a quarterback who is looking amazing, CJ Stroud. Yeah, he threw 3 picks last week, but he got the win. And he's in the MVP race as a rookie. How are we feeling about the Texans?
I mean, I think they're real. I think they're probably a year away. I think, again, if you look at teams like this, a la the Bengals, where they historically haven't been great, they have a new coach, they have a new quarterback. You don't really have a lot of free agent plays coming into the season, but coming out of the season, this offseason, you don't think teams are going to, or players are going to look at this as a free agent destination? Hey, one, there's no state income tax. 2, you have an awesome quarterback. And 3, you have an amazing head coach and offensive coordinator that you feel great about. And you know, realistically, if you're a defensive player, I'm going to roll with D'Amico Ryans because I know that he's got my back. D'Amico kind of played this perfect because he did bring in glue guys. He brought in guys that he know are blue collar. They're going to work. Jimmy Ward getting over there and being a staple in that defense actually worked out great for him. Bobby Slowick is looking awesome as the coordinator, just giving guys a chance to really shine. And then you look at their offensive weapons and you're like, damn, okay, everyone's kind of been elevated by CJ Stroud. And if you're a free agent wide receiver looking at it, you're like, damn, I could do this. Like, I could be better than Nico Collins. I could do this with Tank Dell. Like, let's go ahead and try me out. Let's do this. So I think that we're going to see some big names end up heading to Houston.
Yeah, I think this defense is going to get loaded this offseason. I really like the pieces that they put together. I thought the running back was going to be a little bit better this year, Dameon Pierce.
I
But
did too.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But running back is so easy to replace.
Yeah.
So
and then there's so many disgruntled star running backs out there right now. Now would be the time for them to kind of jump on one of those guys. But Tank Dell, amazing. What I think I really like about D'Amico Ryans is because he's a former player. He really set the tone early with this team, where they draft CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud says, "Go get Tank Dell." What do? They listen to him. They go get Tank Dell.
Yep.
And that just sets the tone for the culture of like, listen, we're gonna hear out what you guys need to say, and we're gonna work together on this. More so than Josh McDaniels, where I'm the dictator. I'm gonna tell you guys what to do. It really seems like the culture is great there, and the players love playing for it. They're having a good time. I mean, they're young, really young team, and if you get a couple more key veterans in there next year, I think the sky's the limit with this team, especially in that division that's pretty shaky.
Yeah, and actually this game coming up is a huge one against the Jacksonville Jaguars. this gives them a shot at the division. And it really kind of shapes out, again, how we were saying the Jacksonville 49ers game is like a prove it game. Who's really what? That's going to be the same thing with this Houston Texans Jaguars game, where it's really going to shape out. If you can win this game as the Texans, it puts you in the 1 seed. It puts you really kind of you control your own destiny the rest of this way out. And so I think that this is a huge game. Hopefully CJ Stroud and the boys come to play. I think that they can beat this Jaguars team.
I think they can too. I think they've already beat them this year, no?
Let me see.
I have to look back.
They beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, so
by 20.
This Jaguars team is up and down. I mean, I think it's because Trevor Lawrence does throw some interceptions, he does have turnovers, so it is pretty hit and miss. But this Texans team is just solid all around, and CJ Stroud's not going to turn the ball over. If he wins the division and gets 11 wins, should he win MVP?
I would say no. Just to be straight up, I would say no. I would still give it to Lamar Jackson if Lamar Jackson is still playing at a high level. I would give it to Brock Purdy if, Brock Purdy continues.
If he gets the 1 seed?
Even if he's the 2 seed and he just balls out. Like if he's averaging 300 plus yards a game, looking good, has a really high passer rating, you might give it to him just because you know how dominant the team is. But I mean, the MVP race is one that usually you need an off season to build your case, where you need an off season where you come in like, okay, the candidates are Pat Mahomes, let's just throw it out there, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. All right. Now coming into next year, it's going to be Pat Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Brock Purdy. Like,
well, here's the thing. Here's what I don't
off season to really push.
Here's what I don't like about that though. If we take out that he's a rookie and what he's doing, he's kind of transformed this team into a contender. We're saying like at the end of the season, he keeps on putting up good stats, not throwing picks. He gets 12 wins. Let's say 11 wins. This team is a contender. The Texans were a bad team.
Yeah.
And he took them to this. He's by far their most valuable player. He's one of the best players in the league statistically. Well, I don't know about that statistically, but his numbers are looking really good. I think he should be considered in the race and not taken out just because he's a rookie.
Okay, but that's the same thing like when we talk about giving the coach of the year just always to a guy it's his first year and the team was shitty and now he got a couple wins and got him in the playoffs. Like, I'm fucking tired of that. And so, like, if you turn the MVP into that, then it's like, okay, well, who turned around the team? This shit.
I mean, we're not saying we're turning. What other rookie quarterback is leading a team like CJ Stroud is doing?
That's true, but like, there are years where it happens. And so, like, every time that happens, are we just going to give it to that guy? No,
I mean,
it should be the literal MVP.
If his stats are up there, and the wins are there, and the eye test is there, I wouldn't be mad at it.
You do your time. You know what I mean? It's just like when we talk about like the Heisman race, you have to put a resume forth and then you get consideration. I think the same thing has to apply for the NFL MVP, where you have to prove it. Again, you can't have like remember when Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden and then fucking went into oblivion? Like, that's the same thing here. Like, you can't have just a one-hit wonder win an MVP.
All right, so they're at 6 wins right now, 6-4. They can win the rest of these games. They have the Jags, Broncos, Jets, Titans, Browns, Titans, Colts. If they win the rest of these games, I put them top 3 of the MVP discussion.
This Jaguars, again, this game coming up this week is going to be
a big resume game.
Is a huge resume game. And don't knock the Broncos. The Broncos just beat the Vikings. They are feeling feisty. Russell Wilson doesn't look like shit anymore. Sean Payton doesn't hate his life. They're looking actually pretty good. And they've turned it around. They went from 1-5 to 5-5. And so they're getting pretty hot.
Let's ride.
And
well, you guys let us know in the comments. Do you think CJ Stroud could be an MVP candidate? Are these Texans going to win the division? Let us know. I just want to end the sports talk today with a little segment. Trust me, guys, this is not going to be like the super analytical breakdown. We're not over here breaking down film. We're just doing who sucks. Who sucks right now? And we want to run through a couple teams and we'll get the discourse started. In the comments, you can let us know why we're wrong, why we're right, and let us know who you think sucks. So there's going to be some, I'm letting you know right now, some fan bases, Pittsburgh, are going to be upset in the comments because Danny's already been going back, or D's already been going back and forth with them on Twitter or on X. So I think we just do this draft style. We go pick for pick. You want to start? Who's your number one? Who sucks?
Number
team?
one sucks. Pittsburgh Steelers. Fuck you. You suck. Pittsburgh is a city. You suck.
Whoa.
The Pirates suck. They've been irrelevant for 30 fucking years. They've had 3 winning seasons since I've been alive. I'm a 30-year-old man. They've had 3 winning seasons. Fuck you. The Penguins, Sidney Crosby, getting old. You guys are out of there. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Haven't had a losing season in forever.
They haven't had a losing season forever. They don't have a quarterback right now. So we'll see. Kenny Pickett is ass.
Terrible.
He's just straight up ass.
Terrible.
You have an awesome defense. You deserve better. You deserve better at quarterback. You have weapons. You have Warren should be the number 1 back. I don't know why you are trying to fit Najee Harris and push this Najee Harris agenda. You just need to stop. And so that is my team. The Pittsburgh Steelers suck.
I'm going to go a pretty good pick here with mine. The Chargers. Fire Brandon Staley. What are you doing? You guys suck. And I'm tired of hearing about how amazing Justin Herbert is. He's not winning games because Brandon Staley sucks. Like, I don't want to hear about how hard he can throw it, how far he can throw it. I want to see him in the fucking playoffs. I want to watch a Justin Herbert playoff win. And he can do it, but he can't do it, Brandon Staley. They're 4-6. They fucking suck. Your pick.
I'm going to go with the New England Patriots.
Easy. Low-hanging fruit.
They fucking suck, dude. I think that, one, I don't think Bill Belichick's going to be there anymore. I think that they are leaking his contract like, just to get someone interested, just to get a buzz going. But Mac Jones, by all accounts, has lost the locker room. I've seen reports that it was 80-20 against Mac Jones. Their receiving core is not good. Their defense, which has been great in the past, just feels like it's given up. And I just think they're in full tank mode at this point.
I think this segment is just a testament to the job that Sean Payton's done to turn around the Broncos. That we haven't brought up the Broncos yet.
Dude, the Broncos are actually, again, I'm telling you, the Broncos are good. They've turned it around. They went from they fucking suck to, hey, they kind of just stink a little.
Yeah, so that's not my pick. My pick is the Washington Commanders. You guys suck. I'm sorry. I feel really bad about saying that because I love the pieces that you have. Terry McLaurin is on my fantasy team. Brian Robinson, he's like a number 4 back in fantasy this year. He's doing really well. And I don't think Sam Howell's that bad, but Ron Rivera makes terrible in-game decisions. I think he lacks some awareness as a GM, and they should be better than what they are. They suck. I mean, they traded away both their edge rushers, and their defense still put up like 9 sacks the other day against the Giants, and then they lost. So or whatever team they played. I'm so mad at them. I can't even watch them right now. But I feel like they have some good pieces there, and they're just not putting up enough wins. So sorry, you guys suck.
All right, and I think this is going to be our last one. So my last one is the Atlanta Falcons. You guys suck. And so your head coach has no idea what he's doing. You guys rolled with Desmond Ridder this entire time. You're trying to have Taylor Heineke salvage your season. You guys just have generational talent in Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. Drake London was supposed to be good. You guys have no idea what you're doing. I think you suck just solely because Arthur Smith has no idea what he's doing as an NFL head coach and should be fired immediately. And even though you guys suck, you have the ability to go out there and get a playoff spot, which is insane to me. The NFC South, you should be ashamed of yourself.
We could have put just the NFC South in this
Yeah.
category because I don't like the Saints either. I don't, and putting Bijan at punt returner, bro. When we're saying get Bijan the ball,
We don't mean like that.
as a fucking punt returner. Hand him the ball.
But he's doing things, off the ball that are just changing the game.
Just give him the ball 40 times a game and see what happens. All right. I feel good now. I feel better. I had to get some of that off my chest. We should do that every week. Sorry for all those who were affected. But I want to move into our last segment of the show, the Deep Dig Disco. Every week we go through, talk about what we're watching, what we're listening to, what we're reading. Literally could be anything that's not sports related.
Yep. And I mean, we love sports, of course. We are going to be partaking in obviously the Thursday games, Thanksgiving coming up, the Black Friday game, which is coming up, of Sunday. But I mean, we have to do other stuff as well. So my Deep Dig Disco is a band that I'm sure everyone is familiar with, but they just did a reunion / comeback tour not too long ago. I heard a lot of hype about them, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I used to watch their show back in the day, but I don't know if they've got it. And so I know they did one of their tour spots was here in Fresno. And so someone was telling me that they were actually just amazing and that I should take a listen to their new album. My Deep Dig Disco is Big Time Rush. Their comeback album was amazing. So I actually just listened to it, I think this past week. And so their new album is called Another Life. And honestly, it is nothing but bangers. If you love just solid pop music, give it a listen. And there's a reason why this band got so big, why they had their own show, why people were so excited for them to come back. And honestly, you will not be disappointed. I just go ahead, throw it on. Every song is pretty much a banger.
They're pretty huge reunion tour.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. I'm sad that I missed out on it now after going back and listening to this album. It was fucking good.
You got a snippet for us?
Yeah, here, this is what it opens with.
We do not own any copyright.
I don't know how much of this we could play, but
yeah, we're already demonetized.
Yep. Oh. But it's good.
Got a little taste of it.
Yeah, go ahead and check it out. It's Another Life. It's streaming everywhere. Big Time Rush. That's my Deep Dig Disco this week.
All right. I'm glad you had music because mine is music this week as well. There's an artist I've been following for a while. His name is It's Nevi on Instagram. He goes by Nevi, Nevi. Really like his stuff. He kind of has this Smino mixed with JID kind of vibe. But he just did this live performance video that I think is amazing. So I think you should go check it out. What is he calling it? Let me go and play out a little clip. So you hear the vibes.
Yeah, I feel it.
Pretty smooth. Go listen to all the stuff. It's really good. I like all of it. So
be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Go ahead and drop some comments below. We definitely appreciate it. Later.
See you guys.